Another edition of your weekly TV show, Be This World. My name is Bidi Nana, and the saying that if coming together of different people, group, and race is with mutual benefit to build a nation is what is advisable. I think it's our duty for every Nigerian to come out on 25th of February to elect somebody who will rule us and lead us as humans. Let's go for a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue. Don't get away, we'll be right back.
Be This World, changing your mindset.
Welcome back to just joining us. This is Be This World, and today we'll be discussing politics and the forthcoming general election. How is it going to be? How is Nigerian looking at the Inec? How is the trust level? The trust level, is it enough for us to go on this journey, or is it not? And to discuss this with me today, my guest is no other person than a legal practitioner, an author, activist, and the founder of Dele Faritumi and Co. Join me to make welcome for Dele Faritumi on the show. So good to have you here, sir. Hello, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for.
Good to have you. Yeah. How has it been? I know it's not been easy. I know it's not been easy.
Don't let me be taking more credit than I deserve. It's been as easy as God.
I like that. I like that. I like the spirit. Now, in less than 48 hours, Nigerians will go into the pool. Now, my question is this. In the level of 10 to 100, can you tell us how Nigerians trust Inec on going on this trip? Because it's a very serious and further trip. What is the percentage of the trust Nigerians have for Inec on going on this trip?
0.
Wow.
0.
Jesus Christ. This is serious.
0.
Now
you can call Jesus Christ, and if you like, you can add Muhammad to that as well. Peace be upon him. Fact of the matter is that to give Inec any trust whatsoever would be to be foolish in the extreme. INEC has not done anything to suggest that it can be trusted. And let's be clear, who is INEC? INEC is me and you. They are not Togolese. They are Nigerians. And they have proven themselves to be completely untrustworthy in everything they have been given to do in this election. When I look to the countless numbers of PVCs that were found dumped in the forests of Anambra, when I consider the fact that it is this same INEC that has posted a man that ran the inconclusive election in Osun State to Lagos State in this sensitive time, there is no basis for me to have any trust whatsoever in INEC. But like I said already, INEC is staffed by Nigerians. So the only thing is that we are hoping that when you look across board come Saturday, there will be sufficient basis to be able to accept the result of the election. But if the performances of INEC before the actual election itself were to be a foretaste of what to expect, where people are profiled as per their ethnicity before they are allowed to collect their PVC, and these are not rumors, these are facts, then it tells you something. When PVCs that were not given to people are now being found in funny places, there is no basis upon which to trust INEC. Let's just be clear about that. The only thing is we hope that in spite of all these, there are obvious fumbles, which cannot be, it can no longer be explained as accidents. There are too many. Let's hope that in spite of all of these, we might end up with a poll that is credible enough to be accepted and acceptable by Nigerians.
Now, honestly, I am even weak with this your answer. Now, if we don't trust these people and we are still going to the pool with them, considering the kind of society we want, now Nigerians want change. They want a new Nigeria. But the power that be will not allow them have their way. And here you're saying the trust for INEC is zero.
Let me explain something to you. It is I am bound. I am bound. I have no choice but to speak what I believe to be the truth at any point in time.
Exactly,
I might
of
be
course.
mistaken. So if what I have said is not borne out by the facts, it will be very easy for anyone to dismiss what I have said as the mere rants of a partisan. But I am saying clearly that in Lagos State, those of Igbo origin, of anybody of Eastern origin, had great difficulties picking up their PVC during the exercise. That is a proven fact. That is one. Two, I am saying that in Anambra, just day before yesterday,
Yeah, I think I have the video. Let me play
Then what you go
I be
to?
hunter.
Okay. Ebe Ijelu hunting keep Okay. All right, better people. My name na
begin to consider the fact that before we come to the actual election itself, the trust, whatever trust one might have, look, you can't ask that one trust INEC. What you can ask is for faith in INEC. Trust is based on empirical fact. The empirical fact suggests that I will be foolish to trust INEC. So I'm telling you straight up, the INEC is not to be trusted. However, it doesn't fall only on INEC, and INEC is not some superfluous being. These are Nigerians.
Exactly.
The person who is going to be manning the beavers machine is a Nigerian.
Yeah.
If they are all happy with the way we are, they can then go ahead and sell themselves out wholesale, and let's see if they will be buying from different markets for the next 4 years, or in our own case, for the next 8 years, because in our case, an incumbent always works to undermine the process. Luckily for us, we have no incumbent in the race. So I would imagine that if the Nigerians who staff INEC elect to do good, it's not beyond us to deliver a credible poll, but to be trusting INEC, please, that would be most foolish in the extreme.
Now, talking about the Lagos INEC rec, Abaje, who said, and the INEC even said they are not going to redeploy him because people have actually demanded that he be redeployed, and they refused to redeploy him. And the voice note that trended about a few days ago, warning people if they are not voting for APC that they should not come out to vote. What do you make of that?
That is just, see, let me first of all deal with the voice note. Tinubu and his thugs in Lagos State have always thrived on intimidation. But intimidation can only work when there is voters apathy. We are more than them, and we will come out, we will vote in our numbers, and we will defeat him here in Lagos. And when we are done spanking his ass in the presidential election, we will then proceed to smack his ass in the gubernatorial election a couple of weeks later. We will not be intimidated. It's dry raking. They can send any voice note they care to send. It may interest you to know that the OPC has already promised to deploy across the length and breadth of the Southwest on Saturday to make sure that people can vote in peace. I am ordinarily not a fan of any paramilitary organization or any tribe, but in this case, nobody is saying that anybody is fighting for anybody. We're simply saying nobody should feel any fear whatsoever. Go out and exercise your franchise. Nobody is more Nigerian than the other, and nobody is more Yoruba than the other. We are Yorubas as well, and we are here, and we will vote.
That brings me to another question. This is your statement. No one is more Yoruba than the others. we are in Lagos, we find where a lot of Yorubas intimidate others if they are not voting APC. We're talking about the governorship
Let me,
election now, that they
I
should
am
not
sorry.
come out. Now, my question is this. Other people, from other parties, they are all Yorubas, and they say they are all Lagosians. Now, I'm asking, are there other people they prefer than their own? Are they not their brothers and their sisters? Why
Now,
are they doing that?
you have made an error that you should be careful with, because in doing this, you are helping them to spread the stereotype they want to spread. And I would explain myself. Tinubu prefers the tribalist game of us against them. If he does not couch it in the terms of the tribe, it is easy to see the fraud that he is. So when you say some Yoruba, it's not Yoruba. They are not doing it in the name of the Yoruba. They are doing it in the name of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. These are people who benefit from his criminal enterprises. And they are not only Yorubas. There are Igbos amongst them. There are Hausas amongst them. And they are from across all nationalities. Yoruba just so happens to be the language that most Alaye speaks in Lagos Island. You'll be surprised when you find out that some Alaye is from Oguta. He was born in Lagos Island. He's as much a Lagosian as anyone else. But it is easier for people to hide their criminalities behind groups. That is why you find, for instance, that somebody will say he's speaking for the Fulani, but he's not speaking for the Fulani because the first line victim of his criminality are the Fulanis themselves. But he claims to speak in the name of the group so that he can hide himself behind that larger entity. Tinubu has never once in his political career worked for the Yoruba's interest. He left Afenifere since 2003. He was the one who chased Afenifere out of his secretariat at Jibowu. So if somebody is coming out to tell you that there is Yoruba, no, it's not about Yoruba. It's about Bola Ahmed Tinubu's criminal enterprise hiding behind the name of the Yorubas. Am I supposed to say that Nnamdi Kanu's action or Simon Ekpa's action are the actions of the Igbos? That would be most stupid of me. So let's be very careful, because that's exactly what they want us to be doing. They would prefer that we couch these things in terms of us and them. There is no us and them. It's the criminals versus the rest of us. And those criminals are Igbos, Yoruba, Fulani, Ijo. They belong in one family. They marry each other. They do businesses together. We are the ones who must be careful not to further their stereotypes. Thank you very much for allowing me that. But okay, sorry. To now answer the second leg of your question, which is specifically with the person of Mr. Segun Agbaje. Segun Agbaje is only one man, and he has been thoroughly exposed and more or less discredited, and he knows we are watching him. We are watching him. His actions, his utterances, and his past record suggest that he shouldn't be found anywhere near an election as sensitive as the one to be conducted on Saturday in Lagos. But unfortunately, most unfortunately, Inec has decided to be most unresponsive and irresponsible by keeping him in his office. We can't do anything about that, but he's only one man. There are multiple persons in each polling center, and the beauty of the beavers, if it is not breached, is that we get our results per polling booth. When you get results per polling booth real time, it becomes very difficult for corrupt politicians and corrupt INEC officials to influence the process, because we would have seen it real time. And his attempt at using MC Mushroom Pikin to distribute electoral materials, thank God,
that's terrible.
Courts have stopped that. So I'm sure it's been rendered largely irrelevant as it should be.
It's okay. I have my colleague representing Nigerians in diaspora. He has some questions for you. He's actually joining us from Milan. Massive Mike, please, your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honorable Dele, you actually know what you're saying, and you've been saying this for long. You've been putting out good insights. into things probably the average Nigerian didn't know all these years, and that was what brought us up to this level of all kinds. I mean, quagmire of political quagmire. So my question from our corner here is: we see something we don't really like, and that is foreign intervention into Nigerian policy. 3 days ago, the UK High Commissioner came on air and she was telling Nigerians what they need to do. Now, we live with them. We understand what they play. You know, it's a game of interest. And when they talk like this, most times they don't know that it affects the ordinary citizen because they are not really thinking of the ordinary people. They say things that interest their own government, their own life. So, what will you say as a nation builder, a mind that thinks very, very deep? What will you say about foreign intervention? On Saturday, AU will be bringing some people to monitor. EU will bring some people to monitor, and all these countries bring people to monitor, and we don't even come to monitor their own, and they monitor our what we do. What will you say about this, my brother?
All right, two things. First, I am not Honorable Farotimi. My name is Farotimi. There is absolutely nothing honorable about the persons called honorables in Nigeria. So I'd rather be spared the shame of anyone hearing me referred to as Honorable Dele Farotimi. My name is just Dele Farotimi. Thank you very much. And thanks for the kind words you've had to say. Now, to now deal specifically with the subject of foreign interventions in Nigerian politics, our policies, and indeed in everything Nigerian. My people have a proverb in Yoruba land. We say, Orese wirile o. Why would you not take advantage of a fool?
Hey.
That is how that actually translates. Why would you not take advantage of a fool? You see, every time that purpose is unknown, abuse becomes inevitable.
Inevitable, exactly.
Nigeria is a country that has been formed without purpose. So it has become inevitable that we will be subjected to all manners of abuse. And we have been abused, thoroughly abused for years. And that abuse will continue for as long as we do not get our leadership right, because everything rises and falls on leadership. If you go to Habakkuk chapter 2, specifically from verse 2, it says the vision is for an appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it. It doesn't stop there. It says, write it down, make it plain, that those who read it might run with it. Now, what a leader does is that he envisions. Vision constrains. So if you have resources and you have the vision to build something, your resources is channeled to your vision. So you build based on the vision you have for the future. You train, you constrain your entire forces to the achievement of the future that you can envision. The unfortunate tragedy of Nigeria is that we have failed woefully, as it were, to envision. We have had zero leadership. So there has been a complete lack of visioning. So what has happened is that each ruler comes into office, and as he comes into office, is focused entirely on ruling. Ruling entails living in the moment, the preservation of power. So you can only deal with little issues. You can't do anything because you are not thinking beyond the day. So they all come, they focus on stealing, on self-aggrandizement. They focus on all manners of nonsense. Myopia governs their thinking, and the years run by. And then towards the last days of their government, they start running kitty, running kata. You understand? Which is what you are saying with Buhari now. Time runs faster than they all realize. So now, this situation we found ourselves in, the British, the Americans, all of them, they are taking advantage of the fact that we have found no purpose. We are not constrained, and they are singularly concerned about us becoming nuisances in their country as refugees. Because if you look at America, for instance, every American, a Nigerian American, is entitled to a number of dependents from Nigeria that he can bring into the country as of right if Nigeria goes belly up. If all of the Nigerians in America, and it's the same rights extend to most of you who are in Europe, if you begin to file to bring your Nigerian relatives stranded in a wartime Nigeria, we will change the demography of Europe and America in little or no time. These are their own fears. They're no sendors. They are no sendors. They are even done extracting our resources. They've allowed the Chinese to take us over. They are done with us. They take our human resources now. The best of us are abroad. We send our children abroad to come and school. We take scarce resources to train them. And most of us are praying that those children should find jobs where they've gone to school. We are not praying that they come back. So when Europe and America sees us like this, they have every right to talk down at us and to say the things that they are saying. I have no blame whatsoever for them. Why should I even, somebody who enslaved me, who thought my ancestors were good to be exchanged for mirrors and gin, why should he care what? We should be real about the way these people see us. We are the ones who have made ourselves victims. The whites, even the yellow ones in China, they are now chancing us. They see us as subhuman because we behave that way, even to ourselves. We introduce ourselves to them. In what other country of the world would the government send soldiers to go and kill unarmed civilians, and other unarmed civilians who are victims of the same government would be busy justifying the murder and helping to hide the massacre?
It's okay. It's okay.
So please, we deserve everything they are doing to us.
Exactly. Now, my question is the new redesigned Naira note policy. There's some governors in Nigeria, started with governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, that have sued the federal government. They've been pushing what a lot of Nigerians term personal interest, because we were in this country when ASU had issue. They gave the Supreme Court gave ASU, but they did not obey it. Nnamdi Kanu, they did not obey it. EndSARS, so many things they did not obey. Now, a lot of people, Nigerians, are saying, if not for selfish interest, why are they so keen on the federal government obeying this new design Naira notes law? But before you answer that question, let's go for video.
Be this world, changing your mindset.
Welcome back to just joining us. This is Be This World, and my guest today has been Dele Farotumi, Obidati campaign spokesperson, South South, and we'll be talking about politics and how to be better. So, sir, what do you make of all this drama? All these governors lately, a lot of governors have joined them.
Well, let's be clear about something. It is not in the habit of the Nigerian ruling class to care about what happens to the average Nigerian. I mean, come on. You've tried to outline a litany of times when they could have been interested in what happens to us, and they were not interested. The reality is, what happens in their coven are known to them. We don't know until they come out, until witches come out to tell the uninitiated what has happened inside the witches' coven. We will never find out. What we do know is that in 2019, we saw bullion vans, 2 of them, that we were later told missed their way into Bola Tinubu's private residence. And then by the same token, we also heard that companies pay their staff, and the bullion van was conveying such monies. But we were even told again in the same explanation that the bullion van was empty. So Buhari has now, obviously for reasons best known to him, has decided that it is time to change our currency by dyeing it in different new colors, because they have not redesigned anything, they just recolored. So now that they have recolored, the same Buhari has also decided that not only must he recolor, the thing must be scarce. Me, I am not in I'm not in APC. Tinubu is in APC. Like the short one,
El-Rufai is in APC. Buhari is in APC.
Is in APC. All of them going to court, they are in APC. They are saying the one does not want their political chances. They are the ones fighting themselves. Me, I don't know anything. All I just know is at least the chances of votes being bought in this election have been minimized. Exactly. It is also clear that money don't expire for Nigeria now. So it is easier for people to vote their consciences. But that's one El-Rufai or some governor is busy running to a Supreme Court that does all kind of magic, that is now busy poking his nose into what does not concern it in the first place. That's their own business. Within now the fight next door. Me and you don't keep any money. We don't keep any money for under our bed. People will get warehouses to be afraid of. So let them be crying, not concernedly.
So Massive, like, let's have your last question. We're running.
Yes, I'm so carried away with Dele's statements. Okay, Dele, let's come direct now. 20 few hours from now, we'll be going to the polls. What do you envisage? What do you see? What's going to happen? Because listen to why I'm asking this. There are what you call those conventional voters in Nigeria. We know them. And the north of Nigeria has more of such people. People that are ready to queue on the line, stay with their people, endure the moments. You know, it's not too pleasant staying on the queue, waiting to cast your vote and going through all those bureaucracy. Now the South and these new voters the Inec claims to have don't understand those things. They are not used to it. People will run out of patience. People will be talking about, I want to eat. I never eat since morning and all that. And these numbers should know that we need, the election is about numbers, you know? So if some of these northerners that we are seeing that are going to route for PDP, conventional voters, endure all it takes to put their votes, and in the South that we want to have more of the new voters and the new demographic, and they are not following up. Lately again, sorry to add this more questions to this, the Southeast have more agitated people that don't want to come and vote even. Some people are saying sit at home on that day. Now, what will you say of this, our chance of putting, because I am obedient. Point and clear, we don't hide that. I'm obedient. In fact, I'm a campaign person in Europe for the LP/ADC, African Democratic Congress. That's my party. So I'm their media person here in Europe. So what will you say will be the reality by 9, 10, 12 o'clock in the night of Saturday, 25th, 2020?
Well, you've asked many questions.
Yes, compressed in one.
Three in one.
I will try my best to explain it, because there will be others who would, some of the things you might not even need the information, but some of the other persons who will come across the video might need this. In January 2022, I delivered a lecture series totaling 5. It was in either 4 or 5 parts. I titled it Your PVC or Your Gun. It's available on my website. It's not a commercial website. I don't do any advert or anything on my website. Or you can check it on my YouTube channel as well. It's the same. It's not commercial. It's just Dele Farotimi. You can get this there. Your PVC or Your Gun. And what did I say in that lecture series? I was seeking to make it clear to all of us that in 2023, this election that we're about to have on Saturday, we have a chance to avoid war in Nigeria if we registered to vote, which was the point I was making at the time, and then we took a conscious decision to vote right. That if we voted right in 2023, we would have prevented the likelihood of the need to carry guns. Because if we cannot get the required changes by our PVC, chances are that Nigeria might end up in an imbroglio that would demand that those who do not want to carry their PVC would have to carry guns, whether they want it or not. So that was the lecture series. Yeah, it was in 4 parts. That was in January 2022. Now, in 2021, I published a book titled The Imperatives of the Nigerian Revolution. It's available for free download on my website. I'm not advertising a book. Anyone can download it for free. Now, what I was explaining in that book is much the same as exactly what I'm saying now and what I said in that lecture series. I was making it clear that we're arriving at an inflection point in the history of Nigeria. And whether we like it or not, we would have to make a critical choice without which we would then have a choice forced on us by the circumstances that are all coalescing together. I was looking at a whole range of issues: Fulani, terrorism, Boko Haram, IPOB, Yoruba nationalism, the rising wave of separatist agitations all across the South. I was looking at all of these. I was looking at ISIS crossing through the Sahel, and now the nepotistic instinct of Buhari is blinding him to the fact that he is actually aiding insurgents who are bent on destroying Nigeria. So I looked at all of these, and I knew that 2023 was going to be pivotal. So I wrote and spoke to all of these. Now, when you speak about the North, before Buhari, it was okay for people to assume that there was a monolithic North that would vote in one particular direction. Buhari has destroyed that monolithic North. Buhari laid the foundation stone for the destruction of the monolithic North by his own Fulani redentist instincts. Everything must be Fulani first. If you can't find a Fulani to do it, it must be another northern Muslim first. If you cannot find a northern Muslim, he must find a southern Muslim first. So increasingly, what used to bind the North, which was the fact that the goodies were being shared around, stopped because Buhari was he is way too nepotistic in his instincts to care about all the other people who made up the old North that is the monolithic North to which you are referring. Buhari has destroyed northern solidarity. When Tinubu now won their party's ticket and he proceeded to pick another Muslim as his running mate, what they did was that they told the northern minorities, for whom Christianity is a question of tribal identity, it's not just about faith. A lot of people lack understanding as to the history of the Christian North. The Christian North are largely the remnants of those who used to be the slave stock of both the Fulani and the Kanem Borno empires, which predates the British in Nigeria. So, by the time the British came, those the Fulanis could not conquer or refuse to conquer, because if they had conquered them, they would have had to Islamize them. If they Islamized them, they would not be able to enslave them, because Islamic jurisprudence Muslim from enslaving another Muslim. So they either refused to conquer them even when they could, just planting garrisons around their land, or in some cases they just couldn't conquer those people because they were too warlike, like the Jukuns, like the Biroms. Those were people they could never subjugate. So what you find is that Christianity was largely embraced when the British came by these northern tribes that were never conquered or were not conquered deliberately. So Christianity is a matter of identity for them. It's about their history. It is not something that is just about, oh, so I'm a Christian. It's not religion. It's identity for them. Some of them have had to give up their faith so that they could advance in northern societies. So let's be clear. Emilokan, with his Muslim ticket, awakened that part. So you have a situation today where you cannot speak of the North as one. It wouldn't shock me if Peter Obi wins in Adamawa. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but I expect to see him do pretty well in the North. But it's not just about religion. The APC has been ruining us for the North, ruining us in the extreme. Nobody has suffered more under the APC than the North. Katsina, that is Buhari's hometown, is ridden with banditry. Zamfara is in a war. The whole of the Northwest has been lost to banditry. The Northeast is rife with insurgency. How can they now continue to be looked? No, they are not voting in a monolithic way. I expect very clearly that Peter Obi will win on Saturday. It is my expectation that there are sufficient numbers of Nigerians who are still married to their brains that will deliver the victory for Peter Gregory Obi. Because what is the alternative? A man with a criminal record, or the one that is busy with SPVs up and down the place?
And many people have this view that Peter Obi will actually win, but they are afraid that if he wins, they might not allow him.
Who are the they? Are they more than us? Who are these they? Let's be clear about something.
The power that be.
Let me explain
who have been running Nigerian.
You see, I've said something variously during the course of this campaign. And the crux of that argument is that for Peter Obi to become the president of Nigeria, Nigerians would first of all have to become citizens of Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that is lacking in citizenship. So if we do our own part and go out on Saturday and vote in overwhelming number for the person that we want, Peter Gregory Obi, I dare them, let them deny it. Then you will find at that point that it becomes easier to mobilize the people for the change that they have desired all these years. Look, Peter Obi is probably the last chance the system would have at a peaceful transition of power. It's probably the last chance they would have. And this is not about loudmouths like me talking. There are people out there whom the like of me cannot even tell to pull back because life has become hopeless for them. They now have one hope and they have invested their hope. Don't worry yourself about people coming out to vote in any part of Nigeria. You see, when they have democratized suffering, suffering has gone round in Nigeria. It has gone round. And whatever Buhari's motivation might be, the fuel scarcity and cash scarcity and the complete breakdown of the banking system in the last couple of weeks have sufficiently sensitized the people that there are consequences to elections. The people will not only come out to vote, they will stand and defend their vote. The difference between a revolution and anarchy is the plan for the day after the violence began. There is not going to be any anarchy. We are clear about the need for Nigeria to turn in a different direction. We can do that with our ballot, but if they refuse to have it done quietly and peacefully, the one thing they can be sure of is that they'll be contending with a lot of very angry people who are determined to be free.
Wow, it's been wonderful speaking with you. Now, can you talk to Nigerians, having in mind that over the years, during election, there has always been intimidation? Can you speak to them as we end this conversation?
See, yeah, I don't understand this thing. First, if you go out there on the streets of Lagos, I'm already tired of the number of soldiers I'm seeing. I'm even beginning to believe that maybe Buhari has his own game beyond that, beyond wanting to keep MC Mushroom Pikin and his children quiet in Lagos. I don't even understand why we have so many soldiers getting involved during election time, but that is the tragedy of Nigeria. However, I don't know why anybody should also be apprehensive. Now we get this country together. The politicians have ridden roughshod over us all these years because we have refused to own this country. This time around, we are determined to own our country. My people talk, say nothing where they've come from top. We won't fall from sky, we grant, no go contain. Anything they like, me then throw come. We dey here, we no go run. Now our country. No, now if we where I won't go. I envy this my brother wey dey for Igbo land. I envy you. I'm not fit.
No,
I wish I could.
don't envy us. Don't envy us. You know
No,
why?
now those of
The, the,
una,
the,
bros,
the,
those of
the,
una wey
the
still get
stress.
brain
No.
like you.
Listen to this. What we go through, that's why a lot of Nigerians are abroad in diaspora. They are eager to see this change. If you
You're
notice,
the one not hearing me, oh, bros. You're the one not hearing me. All of
no,
una wey
you
dey
get,
abroad. Now una get brain, una brain still dey work.
yes. So
That
so
na
you
why
know,
una live.
I agree with him.
no, we want to see a good home because at
We
the
wey
end of
dey
the
our brain no correct, na im make us stay. If we well, we go don
no,
comot.
I am telling you, I agree with you 100%.
you go come back. You know go listen. There's nothing like being in your own
Okay.
father's land.
I
Believe me.
hear you. I
There's
hear you.
nothing.
Are you
You
not
see,
hearing me? Oh?
no. I understand what you're saying. Everybody thinks that it's greener. You know, one adage they talk. They say
You
they
know,
look
you
green
see, you
when
are
you're
preaching,
far.
you are preaching to the choir. I have
Yeah.
lived where you are, where you are living. I'm explaining to you that those of you who have left, it is because your brains are functioning. You are well. You understand that this place don't with the person way well, no, they live for the kind of mess where
I'm
they live
telling
inside.
you.
I can with the chop on top dustbin. With the chop on top dustbin, you think say our nose they work? Our
It's
nose
not
no work.
working.
Now if our nose they
So,
work, we know sit down for
a
dustbin.
brief news update, a brief breaking news. Dele should know this too. There's a young man in Finland called Simeon Ekpe.
That
Simon,
monkey.
yes, a
Nari
monkey.
monkey.
Yes.
I heard he has
These
been
are people.
arrested.
Yes, there is a news that he has been arrested. Now, these are the people adding to the pepper in the fire. Then they add charcoal to the fire that is burning already in Nigeria. And the true story is that I'm saying this on air now because we have a confirmation to that. One of the political presidential candidates is sponsoring him.
Yeah,
So that they put that fire so that the East will
exactly. He
not have,
was paid huge amount of
yes,
money. That
yes, the
was
East will not have,
November.
yes.
You already know the political party. One of the
Yeah, I've heard stories told of Tinubu having been a sponsor.
yeah.
Let me say this.
It's authentic. The
I'm not
Ohanese,
surprised. I'm not
yeah,
surprised.
Ohanese is a strong pan cultural Igbo group, and they also have small on the background officers that work for them. So they got that information, and they told us also in our studio here.
I'm not
So
surprised. That is right
yes,
up Tinubu's creek. That's his usual
that's his
style.
call to fame. That's his call to
No,
fame.
no, that's his style. That's his style. No surprises there. But I also believe, I believe very strongly that Ndi Igbo and everyone who lives in Ala Igbo has a duty to speak out against these things. Igbos have legitimate grievances. Legitimate grievances.
Exactly.
And a lot of people are profiting with grievance politics.
Mm.
And what they have done is that they conveniently forget that when you legitimize violence as a tool to right wrongs,
Wrongs.
you sometimes unwittingly open the doors of hell. And this is what has happened in the East over the years. I pray that by picking up this monkey, I pray that with Piho's victory by the grace of God, we can have a fully reintegrated eastern part of Nigeria that contributes in every way in Nigerian national life. It's been sad to see Alaigbo become a place that one can't venture these days, but I
You know,
trust and pray that it will get better.
because you brought up this thing, we're already done. I want to ask you this question about the Igbo technocrats or Igbo big politicians. You know, I have this view that the Biafran war they fight has actually affected them mentally because majority of them who are supposed to be behind Obi, I don't know if it's out of fear or out of manipulation, they are manipulating them, don't even believe in Obi. Now, my problem is not don't believe in me, but can you allow me being me? Do you understand? If you don't believe in him, that's okay. But do you need to go about from one television station, from one newspaper to another, saying it? Example is the Anambra State Governor Soludo, and many of them. What do you make of this?
You see,
That's a
it
very good
takes,
question. Sorry, Dele. BD, that's a very good comment and question you're pushing out. That's like hitting the issue on the head. Very good. All right, go ahead, Dele.
if you don't mind, I'll take this question and then I would have to take my leave.
Yeah.
Let me quickly say this. There are cultural issues associated. In my view, I'm an outsider. I'm an outsider who I've been privileged to live at close quarter with a lot of Igbo men and women when I was growing up. I grew up largely in Okokomaiko because I went to LASU. And when I went to LASU in 1985, Okokomaiko was largely a settlement of Igbos and Hausas. Hausas who traded in Alabarago selling rams, and Igbos at the Alaba International. There was no Aspanda in those days. It wasn't there yet. So what you had was a melting pot. And what I found very quickly was that the Civil War had rendered a lot of Igbo men existential because life had been devalued in the course of the war, and a lot of values had also been lost. So there was a drive, a determination to make it in their own time, on their own time, in their own person. There was a focus on the individual succeeding instead
Exactly.
of a group think. It was nice and refreshing to see in some ways because it was a contrast. It was in contrast, sharp contrast with the culture in which I grew up in Ibadan, where I grew up in the typical Yoruba or your Yoruba setting, where you thought more in terms of the group, the community, the collective. I then, as I grew older, and I just understood that it came out of the privations and everything that happened. But what I can tell you about the Obi project is this. I have been privileged to sit in close quarters with some very, 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 very eminent men and women who happen to be of Igbo origin. Well-to-do men, highly cerebral men and women, good people. And for every Soludo, there is an Inacheta. There is Baba Ijewere. There is Charles Oputa. There is Okonkwo. There are so many good men and women of Igbo origin supporting Peter Gregory Obi. His record in serving them speaks for him, and they have stood behind him. You cannot but find political opportunists and jobbers who will, for their own selfish interests come out and speak. If they speak only as themselves, they are entitled to their opinions and they don't necessarily have to support it. I'm Yoruba. I'm not supporting Tinubu. It's my prerogative. So it's not necessary that there will be a tribal consensus behind Peter Obi. And you will always hear the likes of Oji Uzor Kalu spewing the nonsense he's spewing. If he was the one running, would any one of us come behind him? We wouldn't. So, and they must be relevant in the next dispensation if their paymasters would win. Almost all Igbo politicians, almost all, with scant exceptions, are grievance politicians. They speak to the pains of the Igbo to negotiate a seat at the table of impunity, but they never speak on behalf of the Igbo to better the lot of the Igbo. They say it, they mouth all the rhetorics, they complain about the marginalization, but they say all these things just so that they can get a seat at the table, so that they can pick a contract, so that they can get an office, so that they can receive one favor or the other. You find someone like Emeka Ofo at his age, decrepit old man, is still busy sharing dollars in pursuit of a useless. How much can you spend in one lifetime? How long are you going to live? Where is that on Zeribe today? Where is that on Zeribe? So all these things will happen is normal, but I am confident that no other candidate will get 25% anywhere in Alaibo. So all these decrepit monkeys who are busy shouting up and down the place, they can shout all they want, they can say what they care. It wouldn't make any difference to the outcome.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you very
it's been wonderful speaking with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
You for everything. And thank you for pursuing better and good Nigeria. We appreciate all you're doing. We are seeing you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dele.
Wow, you guys have seen it. It's been wonderful speaking with Dele Farutimi. He has said it all. He has said it all. It's not about tribe. It's not about religion. It's about getting Nigerians right. There's something he said. He said, before Nigerians will get that president who will lead them to that kind of country they want, they need to first be citizens. Are we citizens? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Are we the real citizens of Nigerians? Obviously, we are not. But we still have time. It's just less than 48 hours to go. We can change our mindset. We can change everything. We can make the wrong, make it right, and become that citizen that we need to be. It is our Nigeria. Remember, the first scarcity never known any region or any tribe. The cash crop never knew any tribe or any religion. Everybody in Nigeria is feeling it. And he said something. The APC government, if there's people who have suffered in APC government more, it's the Northerners. So that says it all. Remember, 25th of February 2023, we all will be going to the poll. Like people used to say, let's vote our conscience. And let me ask you, if your conscience is not working for you very well, you probably need answer. You probably need to ask some people around you some questions so that you can vote right. Because if we lose this opportunity, if we miss this opportunity, our suffering level might actually be upgraded. And I know you don't want it, and me, I don't want it. That's what we'll be taking today on this Watch Show. It's been wonderful speaking with Dele Farutimi. Remember, don't address him as honorable or anything. Call him Dele. That's what he wants. Wow! Remember, keep love alive. Let's go out there and make that decision. Let them know that we are Nigerians. It is in our place. It is our decision to determine who rules us. Don't be intimidated. Nothing is happening. Go out and cast your vote. Bye. Remember to keep love alive. I love you.